Diagram number 5 reads, whether or not Melanie desires to go to college for podiatry does not matter to her parents. So once again, the name in your sentence might be different, but you get the point. So I'm looking for my noun or my nominal clause, and it begins with whether or not. So whether or not is an interrogative, which is treated like an expletive because it doesn't serve a grammatical purpose. So we're going to end up floating it when we diagram it. But let's think about where this noun clause ends. So it starts the sentence, so it must end somewhere. So Melanie desires to go to college, but it's also college for podiatry. And then it goes into does not matter to her parents. This is where I hear this natural break. And this is where oftentimes people try sliding in a comma, but we know that's not going to happen. So what we have left over in is basically a verb which says does not matter, and then prep phrase to her parents. So like, well, what does not matter? The fact that she's going to go to college for podiatry or not. And so therefore, this whole thing is serving as what am I doing there? This whole thing is serving as a subject of does matter. Okay. So let's build this one somewhat close to the bottom of that white space with a nice little wavy line, Jeffrey. Nailed it. All right, so let's do does matter is our verb. Does matter. Does not matter. I'm going to go ahead and finish this off. It does not matter to parents. And then her parents. And you're like, okay, cool. Then what does not matter to her parents? This whole thing has to sit here as my subject. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I like going up that tall. All right, let's go a little shorter tree. All right. You know what? I'm reconsidering that. I might go with a taller tree. I don't want to go too tall, but I do want a taller tree. We can make this work, I promise. All right, I'm going to kind of do so lopsided tree. All right, so my subject is Melanie, in my case here. So here's Melanie, and my verb is desires. But remember, it's not desires to go, because you could not write desires to go in a verb expansion rule. To go is an infinitive. So I gave you an infinitive this time. Melanie desires what? Ooh, the direct object is the infinitive, to go. She desires what? To go. She's going where? To college. And what kind? It's college for podiatry? Sure, you could say it's college for podiatry. You could also say she's going for podiatry, either one. I'm just going to put it here. I have some space here. This is one of those where, once again, I think you could justify. You could say it's college for podiatry, or sometimes people say, like, I'm going for podiatry. But I think what they're really saying is I'm going to college for podiatry, or I'm studying for podiatry, something like that. But I'm going to put it off college. It's college for podiatry, which is foot doctors. And then lastly, I have whether or not. This is sometimes the cheesy thing of diagramming. I don't mind admitting the fact that there's some things in diagram which are just silly and cheesy, and this is one of them. So basically, Reed and Kellogg, the guys who come up with the diagram, realize there's no place really to put the word whether or not. It's an interrogative, meaning it's a question word. It kind of gets us into the structure, but it's not an adverb. It's not a noun. It's not an adjective. It doesn't really serve any real grammatical purpose. So for them, the cheesy answer is, when in doubt, if you don't have a place to put something, float it. And so that's what we do. Just like the word that, if and whether or not and that all get to float on a little satellite above the verb, whether or not, like that. So that's where it goes. Okay. Base sentence is sitting down here as a subject and an action verb. It's a nice little pattern 6, but there's no direct object or anything like that. So it's just a pattern 6. But I gave you a throwback with a nominal infinitive right there. And I wanted to practice the whether or not. Great work.